That's gonna leave a mark, Taylor.
That's undisputed because I'm undisputed.
The weekend before, for the previous episode of SmackDown, when Naomi lost against Lacey Evans.
It was like 5 minutes, right?
Yeah, if that. I don't really recall. But it sent social media in an uproar, like the wrestling community, as to why, again, someone as talented as Naomi continues to be placed in situations or segments where she's made to look either silly, dancing, singing, happy-go-lucky, talented as fuck, but I'm gonna lose to a basic wrestler, right? And people were just tired of it, you know. And again, Naomi wound up trending and said with the hashtag Naomi deserves better. All that came from that was Booker T's opinion or comments. And what was his exact words? I know you posted it on our page.
Yeah, I might have to post it up right now so I can read it for verbatim, because it was like, when I read it, honestly, I saw what he said, but I didn't read what he said, right? Mm-hmm. So when I read it, I actually had to look through a couple of other people's stuff, like, wait, did he really say like this? Mm-hmm. Because to me, it was just like, why would you say that?
Right.
Like, it was unbelievable. Like, why would you comment? Like, I get it, you got your podcast, your opinion is whatever the case may be, but like, for this instance, this is not the same thing. So I'm pulling it up right now so I can read to you guys verbatim that I won't miss anything. But it was like very disheartening. Like, did you read it?
I mean, you're gonna read it from verbatim, but essentially his thing was that I tweeted it. Essentially, she has to earn it, right?
Right.
Is what he said.
Like, and the hashtag, basically, he's like, the hashtags, you can't give a person a title off of hashtags. You have to earn it. Everybody, you know, basically work for it, and you can't let these people on the internet, like, basically something like that. And it's just like,
yeah. So I guess you don't really have to bring up the comment verbatim, but so my thing is, and then you'll say what you have to say in regards to. But my thing is, well, how do you earn it, right? Because if you're gonna put me in a segment where, how many times we've seen Naomi in a dance-off, and now a single? How is in that situation? How can I earn that? I need to be. Doesn't even necessarily be in a title match, because I know she mentioned in an interview that it doesn't have to be a title. I just want a good feud, right? How does that being in a sing-off and a dance-off trades off to her having a match? Okay, earn it. She's always there. She doesn't complain. She does what she has to do. And then when she does get the chance to show out, she shows out. She came back to Royal Rumble. That's a stadium. It's not an arena. It's a stadium. The fact that you heard the way the crowd reacted, I lost my damn voice when she came out because I popped. So if the whole stadium reacted in a positive way with her returning, and then on top of that, that clip went viral from not only from wrestling fans, but outside of wrestling fans, how did she not earn that? Okay, how do you fix it? So you all she does is sits and does nothing. How do you fix? So how does the next person earn opportunities then? I'm sure she does exactly what everyone else does. So how do you fix your mouth and say, yo, she got to earn it? But then you say people like Alexa Bliss and Charlotte are better? See that? And I'm tired of that narrative of, again, I'm not trying to dish Charlotte or whatever or say anything in that sense, but they put the whole thing about genetically, athletically superior, this and that and the third. And it's like, why? Because she can do a moonsault? Naomi can jump over the ropes into
Right.
a split.
Right.
All the different her move sets. And that's one thing about her. You know, you have a lot of wrestlers that have one move set, right? It's like 5 or 6 moves. That's it. Naomi constantly has different moves, right?
Right.
So again, help me understand where she hasn't earned that. And I'm not trying to shit on Alexa Bliss. She's a good talent, but there's some people have more strengths. In ring might not may not necessarily be her strongest point. I've seen she's gotten better
Right.
as of late, you know, which is what you want in a superstar, to continue to get better and learn from your experiences. But Naomi's always had that. And I'm sure Naomi, if I'm not mistaken, her immediate dream wasn't to be a wrestler, but she took to it and she's continued to grow time and time again. So for Booker T as a black man, that's what kills me. You know, it's expected for, like, you know, certain, you know, I'm not saying all white people, but white people may not getting Naomi because she's a black woman. I get, fine, it's not right, whatever, but that's the situation. But Booker T as a black man, this is the second time that he's fixed his mouth in the sense where he's not bigging up our black sisters. Why is it that, and we saw Sasha came to her rescue, but said, listen, don't, you know, be who you are, don't listen to what naysays, I'm paraphrasing, have to say, no matter who it comes from. Why is it that a black woman has to come and big up another black woman? Why can't a black man be like, ride for his fellow black person? Because then that gives room for others to sit here and shit on you. Why does it take Gabrielle Union, Keke Palmer, and all these different people to see her talent, but he couldn't see that? He can't see that. And then talk, and then play woe is me. Well, listen, if you're gonna listen to what people on the internet have to say when I'm only trying to help, you know, it's not about you. And it's not and Naomi didn't say anything in that sense. And that's a typical, and I'm not, you know, I'm not trying to shade you or all black men, but that's typical toxic masculinity. You said what you had to say, but then took offense when her fans and supporters rolled out for her. Like, that shit had me tight.
Yeah, definitely. And that's the same thing I feel like when I read it. It's just like, and you're right. Like, a lot of times, it's not only him, it's been other black wrestlers as well. And it's just like, why can't you find that the mode is different? Why do you always have to be, no, let's be harder on the black person because I'm black? That's not how it always works. I get it. You're going to push and make them better, but you don't do that on a social platform where it can be held against everybody. That's like the worst place to do it ever. It's like seeing one of your friends in trouble instead of seeing something to your friends directly. How many times you said out of the topic, how many times you said Kanye, somebody needs to pull Kanye to the side? Everything doesn't have to be on the forefront where everybody can see, because then everybody's going to use that against that person later on down the line. Like, if you felt the way that she's doing something is wrong, pull it to the side like, yo, this is how you can claim your moment. This is how you can do it. You have her number. You work with the company. So for you to say that these hashtags or whatever the case may be, just because you don't get why people are upset, you're trying to fit in with everything else. Like, you don't get internet. Honestly, you don't get hashtags. You don't, like, none of this is always real, but they show emotions that are real. Like, there's a reason why she's trending. Like you said, she had multiple like moments in this year alone where she trended online for positive reasons, and still nothing is done with her. So when people are starting to show their frustrations, you have to see where they're coming from. You have to start from the origin. Like, you can't see one moment and then say, oh no, if she wants to do it, she got to earn it. She's been earning it for how long? I had a conversation with one of our listeners on Twitter earlier about the same situation where I mentioned to them, like, they're like, well, they're more marketable outside of wrestling. I'm like, yo, Sasha's been marketable out of wrestling for a while, and she still hasn't been put in the forefront. Yes, she got the tag team titles now. Yes, she's carrying a title that's not officially hers now. But like when she was popping on MTV all over the fucking place, when she was doing cricket commercials and before all wrestlers outside of Cena and freaking Sheamus, they didn't do nothing with her. They don't see no value in these women, and that's the issue. And then when somebody sees value, you try to devalue it, and then you try to play victim. Like, why? Why can't you just agree and be there and support? Like stuff like that is very frustrating. Like, Naomi been athletic, has been growing as a wrestler. She didn't come out great, but she is great now. Like, if you watch her growth, just like everybody else, she has superseded everybody that was on the stage. Path is her. Like, she's been great. Like, everybody like to say that Charlotte's athletic. She is athletic. So is Naomi. Not the same thing. Alexa Bliss is dope on the mic. Cool. She's not that great in the ring. Not the same success. Like, you want to compare? We can compare all day, all night of who earned what. How do you earn it then? You talk about your 6 titles. There's never been a heavyweight champion. When you've been world champion, when your game in WCW was the last night when they were about to close out. So how did you really earn it? We can talk about facts all day. Like that.
And that's it. Exactly.
Like it really was like very upsetting. Like, yo, like how do you earn it? How did you earn it? You didn't really get titles like when you came secondary on WWE. That's when you started winning it. And you still didn't win that type title. And you talked about it when Kofi won it. Because we interviewed you and talked about it.
Thank you.
So why is it different for Naomi? Like, please help me understand.
It comes down to that whole male masculinity, toxic masculinity when it comes down to it. Time and time again, and again, I'm not trying to go off topic, but it just seems like Black men, especially when they're in the spotlight, they put down Black women. They put down Black women. Time and time again, we're put down. And like you said, if you don't understand, like, and I said this on the post that you posted on our Instagram. It's a classic situation of someone that is an older man that is out of touch. Because if you not everyone trends, right? So it's hard to trend. So if you're able to trend, then that means something. 1, 2, and I was seeing a lot of people like, oh, well, you can't rely on hashtags. Well, how did give Divas a Chance work out? If we don't want to put everything into hashtags, we wouldn't be having this conversation about Naomi. We wouldn't be seeing Sasha and Bayley running every brand. We wouldn't see Becky turn the way what she became, or Charlotte, Bliss, all these different people, if it wasn't because of a hashtag that was created 5 years ago.
Exactly.
So don't give me that, oh, well, not everything is about hashtags. Huh?
5 weeks from this past week. 5 years from this past week. Like literally around the same time he made the same comment.
So don't sit here and tell me, oh, well, we can't put stock into hashtags. Fuck that. It's 2020. I get it. There's certain things that's changed that I like from when I was younger back in the 90s and early 2000s. But you have to admit that things are different and you grow from it. That's really what it comes down to. Go ahead, what?
I was about to say, if you want to gauge your audience, social media is a great way.
Yeah, because look, right? People nowadays really don't sit and watch TV, right? They rather get their news on social media or watch their videos, DVR it, or they'll catch the different segments on YouTube. Okay, so that's the name of the game right now. So you have to either grow with it or you get left behind. So if you can't get it, then that's on you. But don't sit here and knock someone that trended 2 different times this year in less than 6 months, or in 6 months, and again has the Shade Room posting it. Again, Keke Palmer, Gabrielle, all these different like A-list people shouting her out. But you that's in the industry shitting on her.
She has to earn it.
But with all that said, you know, shout out to everyone that contribute to the hashtag. She had a segment this past Friday, and I had an issue with the segment.
I saw you say that.
Yeah, I mean,
yeah, I felt like they made a joke of the whole situation.
Exactly, it was a joke. It was more so made as a joke. And I'm not saying anything about the Miz or John Morrison because that's their characters and that's just their persona, right? But when you take that out of the equation, there was one thing that Miz did that I was like, that didn't sit right with me. It was like a condescending thing, like, oh well, how did you think that made you feel? Like, you know what I mean? And it's so what we experience. And I said Black women, but you know, Black people in general in the workplace is this condescending thing of like, I don't necessarily deserve that, or you really think, like, you know what I mean? It's just that whole mentality. And I don't even think, maybe some people may not even realize it or not, but I'm like, that didn't sit well with me at all. No, I get that there's a character, and I'm not trying to be that smart that depicts and complains about every little thing. But there's a way.
Those things, it's triggering between certain emotions.
That's microaggressions. Yeah, those are microaggressions that when you do things like that. And Naomi, and one thing I will say in regard, if I have to critique her, her strong point isn't the mic, right? But this segment, it was believable, it was strong, she didn't seem nervous. It was just, she got her point across. You get what I'm saying? So shout out to her that even though that's how they were acting, again, I know that wasn't them per se, she delivered it, and she was serious. And I'm hoping now that this feud, I'm assuming there's a feud between her and Lacey, it's in her favor. Even if she lost the match, like, no one's saying, okay, well, Naomi got to go on a 10-20 match winning streak. Then that's not believable. That's not, that's not believable. Let's have a 10-12 minute match. Let's have a couple of feuds. If I'm not going to be on the actual card for this pay-per-view, put us on the pre-show, like something. There has to be something tangible. And that's how you build stars. And it goes back to what we mentioned earlier in regards to building stars and your business profiting. You know, damn it, we're not a part of the industry, but you know,
we're fans.
We're fans.
We're watching.
You know,
we don't have those.
Sometimes you got to give people what they want.
We don't have those blinders on.
Woo, that had me very spirited conversation.
Yeah. I don't usually get upset, but that was like very annoying to me.
Absolutely.
I'm usually a cool, calm, collective, but like that just like I'm just here thinking about it.
It was annoying.
I'm watching his comments. I'm reading his comments. I'm like, yo, like 6-time champion. But it just was secondary. They gave the title the last night when they was about to close out the show. They sold the Vince, and then when you got the Vince, the title was like an Intercontinental title compared to the heavyweight title.
And you were. Let's keep it 100. At one point, when you got to WWE or WWF at the time, and you were low key a joke, right? So like listen, and I'm not. I'm gonna refrain. I'm gonna take that back.
Booker.
Yeah, I'm gonna take that. I'm gonna take that back in the sense of you were a joke, because that's rude. But it's the same. But it's the same scenario when you think about it, right? With Naomi, how do you earn a situation if you're not getting that opportunity? And that's literally, so for him tonight, for that not to generate like somewhere in his mind, or resonate, in his mind, like that's crazy to me. But shout out to Naomi, because as usual, she's awesome. Phenomenal. She's a class act. She could have handled that so many different ways. It could have been like exactly. It could have been the stereotype of an angry Black woman, but no, she rose above it. was gracious enough, and she's willing to learn, and that's what you want in a superstar to do, to learn and take whatever advice and apply it, and that's time and time again.
Even her responses has been like A1 to everything. She hasn't
As
shown
always,
no
as
upset.
always.
She's
Even
been very
when
cool and then very accepting
even when people come at her, it's never a thing like, where she, and I'm the type of person I am, if you coming at me, I'm coming for your neck. She never does that. You know what I mean? It's always positivity. So shout out to Naomi. And I'm excited to see, hopefully, that
some positive
there's
things
that comes out from this. So